Medical astrology is the branch of the astrology that deals with health and longevity issues. Each sign and each planet are associated with a number of possible diseases, so it may be said that the native may be affected by such disease or diseases. Vedic astrology is a great tool wherein an experienced and learned astrologer can see what disease the native is suffering from or is likely to suffer from. The astrologer need not to be a medical expert, or for that matter, he may not be able to name the disease in particular. But the astrologer can certainly pinpoint what system or organ of the human body is vulnerable or is likely to be affected seriously. The sixth house in a Vedic astrology chart or natal chart is directly associated with health, illness, and disease. The planets and sign placed here can provide insight into the nature and timing of health problems. The sun principally symbolizes the body's basic vitality or life force. Each house position indicates in part the individual's vitality and resistance to disease. The moon is symbolic of the emotion and their role in maintaining bodily health. It symbolizes all reflexes and the habit patterns that we develop. Planets in conjunction with the moon in the natal chart often indicate habit patterns that are difficult to break. The moon, along with Cancer, the sign that it rules, is associated with all allergic conditions. It also represents the fluid portion of the body, including plasma, which is the fluid portion of the blood. All bodily secretion, the fluid waste products, sweat and urine, and the water that is part of the body. Mercury was called the messenger of the gods, and as you might expect, this planet rules the transmission of messages from one part of the body to another. Messages are transmitted electrically via the nervous system and chemically via hormones in the bloodstream. It is also symbolic of logic and conscious reasoning. Mercury also rules the thyroid gland and along with Gemini, the respiratory system. Venus as the goddess of love. Venus rules physical sensation and the sensory organs. These organs connect the physical function of the body with the mental function, just as Taurus, ruled by Venus, connects Aries, the physical body, with Gemini, the mind. This process ends, of course, in Cancers, ruled by the moon. Venus also rules the female genitalia and the venous portion of the circulatory system. The deoxygenated blood returning to the heart. Hair, as an extension of the sensory system, is also ruled by Venus. Mars, the god of war and battle. Mars implies physical action and movement, and its principal rulership in the muscular system. Since the heart is also a muscle, Mars is a secondary ruler of the heart along with the Sun in Leo. Mars rules the red blood cells, which carry oxygen to the cells, providing them with energy, and it rules the adrenal glands located above the kidneys. The hormones secreted by the adrenal glands mobilize the body's defenses when the individual is externally threatened. Mars, representing the male principle, rules the male genitalia. Venus represents the female principle. Jupiter, the ruler of the gods, has as its principal function the growth and expansion of the body. It rules the arterial portion of the circulatory system, the pancreas, which governs fat production and assimilation of carbohydrates, and the liver, which is the largest organ after the skin and which performs hundreds of different chemical processes that sustain life and growth. Uranus rules the involuntary or autonomic nervous system, which controls the involuntary function of the body, such as digestion, respiration, and heartbeat. Saturn, the planet and the sign that rules Capricorn, in general are concerned with form, structure, and establishing limits. Therefore, in medical astrology, Saturn is the ruler of the skeletal system, which gives the body support and form like the girders of a building. Saturn also rules the skin, which in addition to giving form, and structure also establishes the boundary between the body and its environment and protect the internal structure from water loss and invasion by foreign substances. Saturn rules the parathyroid gland in the neck, which regulate the metabolism of mineral necessary to bone formation, whereas Jupiter represents the growth process, Saturn represents the process of aging. Neptune rules the spinal canal and along with the Moon, the spinal fluid. It is the undisputed ruler of the pineal body, which is located near the top of the skull just beneath the fontanelle. Neptune has also been associated with the various ESP processes. Neptune, which is classically called the planet of deception, rules poisons and drugs. Any substance introduced into the body's chemical system that has no normal role in nutrition is said to be ruled by Neptune. These substances deceive the body in that body perceives them as the natural substances and reacts in some abnormal way. The caffeine in coffee, which resembles adrenaline, and aspirin are examples of Neptunian compound. Aspirin deceives the body by turning off the sensation of pain without eliminating the source of the pain, which is one of the nature's danger signal. Alcohol and anesthetic are ruled by Neptune, as are all substances that we classify as poison, including hallucinogenic drugs. Pluto rules the pituitary gland, the master gland that controls growth, hormonal secretion, and development of secondary sex characteristics at puberty. Because Pluto rules the growth hormones, some astrologers have assigned midget giants and other unusual growth anomalies to Pluto. Pluto rules abnormal cell growth, tumors, birthmarks, warts, moles, and the like. Pluto rules the enzymes, which catalyze chemical reaction within the cell, and the hereditary component, DNA in particular, of the cell's nucleus. Pluto is also thought to rule all foreign biological substances that enter the body, such as bacteria, fungi, viruses, protozoa, and parasitic organisms. This planet is perhaps best thought of as being the alpha and the omega of life, representing both conception when sperm fuses with ovum and the death of the physical body. It is certainly implicated in all hereditary processes.